Hey guys, it's Chris at Highland Guitars. You're watching another one of my YouTube guitar building videos. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that by the end of this video, I'll have earned the honor and privilege of your subscription. And of course, to everybody who's watching, if you'd like to show some support for my channel, you can visit eguitarplans.com or my Highland Guitars YouTube merch store, which is displayed down below. Either way, there are links in the description for both of those sites. And when you visit those sites, you can purchase plans for building guitars, the tools that I use to build guitars, as well as some cool looking t-shirts. And whatever you spend is going to help support this channel so that I can build more guitars and show those builds here on YouTube. And I can also purchase tools and review those tools here on my channel. And of course, if you would like to show some support but not spend any money at all, you can click that thumbs up button down below. What I want to talk about in today's video is I wanted to try and answer a question from a viewer, and that is, what is the process that I follow when selecting and purchasing torrefied wood? What is torrefied wood? Torrefied wood is wood which has been put through a special process that ultimately results in wood which is not going to be affected by changes in humidity. As you know, when the humidity levels change, it can affect a guitar. It can cause the wood to warp, bend, twist, and even crack. And all of those little issues can affect the playability of the guitar. So ideally, a woodworker, a guitar builder, wants to use wood that has less susceptibility to changes in humidity. And one of the ways to do that is to use torrefied wood. Now, torrefied wood is not some new species of wood that we've discovered. It's not grown in Africa or in Central America. It's any species of wood that has been put through a process known as torrefaction. And what that means is the wood has been dried at extremely high temperatures, temperatures that would normally burn wood. However, it's done in a special type of drying chamber, which the temperature is raised up to anywhere from 375 to 465 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 190 degrees Celsius to 240 degrees Celsius. Now, at that temperature, wood would normally catch on fire and burn, but in this chamber, the oxygen is removed as that temperature is raised. And when there's no oxygen present, the wood can't burn. So what happens in that process is all the water, the sugars, and the oils that are present in the wood are essentially removed. They're boiled off. And that also can turn the wood to a slightly darker brown color, which is important to understand, and I'll explain why in a minute. But then once the wood has been dried, it's removed from that chamber and it's placed into another chamber where the moisture is reintroduced, because during the torrefaction process, when the temperature was raised to a point of the wood almost burning, the moisture content is driven down to almost zero. Well, you can't have wood as 0% moisture, because what happens is the wood becomes so brittle it falls apart. So they place it into another special chamber where the wood is gradually cooled and then moisture is reintroduced to the wood to bring that moisture content up to about 3 to 6%. Now, in nature, you can't find wood that's been dried naturally, air dried, or even kiln dried to that level of moisture. It's just not possible. I suppose you could leave a board on top of a sand dune in the Sahara Desert for 100 years, and possibly if there was no rain, it might drop down to almost 0 or 3 to 6% moisture content. But the likelihood is it's highly unlikely that's going to happen. So what happens is, once that wood has been brought back to that 3 to 6% moisture content, it can then be used to make a guitar neck, which is almost impervious to changes in humidity. In fact, you can take torrefied wood, when it's torrefied properly, and submerge it into a tub of water, and it won't absorb any of the water. It's incredible. It's also very stable. It's lighter in weight, it's a little bit stronger. And like I said before, it has a slight brown color to it. Now, the reason why that's important is because, unfortunately, torrefied wood is not commonplace. It's still fairly rare. It's becoming more popular, but because the process is time-consuming and it's an extra step in the process of preparing lumber for sale, it's still not really common yet. That's changing, but as a result, because of its popularity, especially among guitar builders, is growing, there are a number of, let's call them nefarious suppliers out there who are selling what they claim to be torrefied wood, which actually isn't. In fact, I've encountered some, we'll just call them foreign websites, where lumber and guitar necks that are claimed to be made from torrefied wood are actually, it's fake. They're not actually torrefied. They're made to look like they're torrefied by staining the wood to have that color. So you need to be really careful of that. And the problem is torrefied wood is expensive. And it's, like I said, it's rare. It's not as common as regular lumber. And the problem is, because it's rare and difficult and not always easy to source, and because of its cost, you could be conned into purchasing what you think is torrefied wood, when in actuality it isn't. So you wouldn't be getting any of those benefits that torrefied wood has. So you want to make sure when you're shopping for torrefied wood to ask the supplier what processes they use to torrefy the wood. And there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. You need to make sure that they use the right kind of torrefication chamber, which is also known as an autoclave, to do the initial torrefaction process. Then you need to make sure that the wood has been placed into a chamber where some moisture has been reinfused into the wood. And you want to make sure that all of these steps have been followed. And more specifically, you want to make sure that they've adjusted the processes for different species of wood, because torrefaction is not universal. It isn't the same for every species of wood. It has to be adjusted and changed for different species of wood. And I know there are some suppliers out there who've done a lot of experimentation in an effort to fine-tune and perfect the torrefaction process for the lumber that they sell. Those are the people that you want to deal with. Now, I could give you the names of folks that I have used in the past. However, I would prefer it if you would do the research yourself to find suppliers you feel comfortable with. And there's a reality that from one day to the next, from 1 week or 1 month to the next, businesses change. And sometimes the methods that they're using for one period of time will change for another period of time for financial reasons. So I don't feel comfortable giving the names of the businesses that I've used. I would rather you do the research and find the folks that you think would supply the type of wood you're looking for. At any rate, whichever supplier that you go with, if they can answer the questions and tell you what their process is and give you some detail about that process, then you've probably found the right supplier. But if they can't or won't tell you, move on to somebody else. Now, I hope that this video is thought-provoking and that you've gotten something out of it. Of course, if you have, please consider clicking that thumbs up button down below. And until the next time, as always, take care, stay safe, and I hope you'll be back for future guitar building videos.